Okay, so we're talking about how to analyse a scene of a film for an English topic that you're doing. So you're going to do multiple watches. This is something you probably would not necessarily do if you were reading a book or talking about a book. But the first thing you're going to do is just pick a scene, and this should be somewhere between 4 or less minutes, maybe 3 minutes or less would be good. Nothing too long. You want to keep it succinctly around one particular theme. What you're going to do is you're going to name the scene, so you might call it like the dancing scene, the shootout scene, depending on whatever the film is, it will be different, but you're going to name the scene. First thing you're going to do is just watch the first scene, watch the part that you've chosen, the scene, in full. You're not going to pause it or anything, keep the sound on, and you're just going to take some notes, and all you're doing on your first listen is actually listening. So you're listening out for what instruments you can hear. You don't need to be too specific. If you can, obviously that's better. If you know your instruments and you kind of what makes up a soundtrack, that would be useful. But if you don't, you're just going to talk about some vague emotional words to go with it, like, maybe the music swells, maybe it's jagged, maybe it's spiky. Try and think of it as, as one of those sort of audio things that you can see when you play something on a computer, say, or when you try and edit audio. Try and think of it like that. Is it smooth? Is it flowing? Is it fast? Is it jolty? Try and give it some verb sounding words like that. Then second watch, we're going to play it again, this time without sound, and at this point we're just looking for shot types. So long shot, mid shot, close up, things like that. And we're going to try and you can do it sort of as a tally. You might think, okay, well that's the 10th mid shot. As a general rule, you don't want to comment too much on mid shots. That's sort of the default position. If there's other types of shots, then it becomes more interesting to talk about those. So we've watched for sound and soundtrack and sound effects. Second, we've watched for the actual shot types that we can see. Third watch, same thing without the sound. You might want to just comment on all of the other minor elements that make up the plot, not the plot, but the analysis of the film. And so you might be talking about things like props, acting, and a whole bunch of other things that I'm sure you have been taken through at this point anyway. So the first two most important things are music and shot types, and then a third watch just to think of what other things are worth commenting on. So these could be symbolic elements, motifs, all sorts of millions of different things for you to consider, but that's when it becomes more open plan. To actually comment on it when you write it is a separate thing that we'll do in the next video.